Roster Watch Nation, what is up, and welcome back to the epic Roster Watch radio program, YouTube program, whichever you prefer. I'm Cody Carpentier here, solo style on June 24th, a Tuesday. This week and next week, as we head into the 4th of July, going to be a little bit different. Multiple vacations, multiple trips being had by Alex, by myself, maybe by Trashman. So you'll get maybe a couple solos, maybe a couple duos, maybe even a trio over the course of the next 2 weeks. But again, 4th of July coming up, and there's going to be a couple of shows that, maybe we're not all 5 days like we missed yesterday. So it was what it was. But today, I'm going to be bringing you, as you can hear my voice, I've been dealing with something. Today, I'm going to be bringing you the hottest takes, bold predictions, top 12 early hot takes against June 24th. Training camp's going to be underway in about a month and some change. Hot takes, 12 early hot takes heading into the 2025 NFL season. Most of these are going to be fantasy football centric. A couple of these are going to be NFL centric, playoffs, things of this nature. All things football is the point. I'm not going to break down all of them. I don't know how much air I have in my tank today, but I got 12. Let's start at number 12. First and foremost, this is going to be like, well, this isn't that hot of a take, but it kind of is. Patrick Mahomes is going to be your QB1 in fantasy football. Patrick Mahomes, QB1. Cody, that's not that hot of a take. But if you go look over right now at all the ADP coming in from ESPN, Yahoo, Fantasy Pros, he's QB6 overall. He was QB1 in 2018. He was QB2 in 2023. But Kansas City's pulled back a lot on the just outpouring of scoring and everything. Last year, he was QB 11 overall in fantasy points. He was actually 140 points behind Lamar Jackson. He's about 90 points behind Josh Allen for second overall. Mahomes QB1 this year on the back of just letting her rip, having Rashee Rice out, the Xavier Worthy, Kelsey, one last hurrah. I like Mahomes QB1. A running back drafted outside the first round in fantasy football will finish as the overall running back one. So right now, according to that, the ADP would read, these are all top 12 drafted players inside PPR formats. Saquon Barkley's third, Bijan Robinson fourth, Jahmyr Gibbs sixth, Christian McCaffrey ninth, and Ashton Jeanty 11th. So that means none of those guys qualify in this take. A running back drafted outside the first round will be RB1. So who are the players that qualify? Jonathan Taylor, healthy, back with that offensive line that can hopefully take a step in a positive direction. They lost a couple of guys, Ryan Kelly and Will Fries. Can they do it? Jonathan Taylor, I think, is a big name that can qualify in this conversation. Derrick Henry, of course, going off at 14th right now. He definitely qualifies coming off a 2,000-yard season. Kyron Williams, for those that potentially think that he is completely just grinded into the dirt without a contract with the Los Angeles Rams, amongst other names like Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs. Those will all qualify. You James Cook, Breece Hall, Chase Brown, whatever way you want to go with this. A running back drafted outside the first round will be RB1 in fantasy football. I'm tying my string to Jonathan Taylor. Wide receiver one is Nico Collins. Whoa, baby. Nico Collins. Here's the thing. Nico Collins right now is going off the board as the wide receiver 7 in PPR, 10th overall, just right there, right at the end of the first round. I love me some Nico Collins. I think he continues to grow forward. And if you look at what Houston has kind of got right now, as far as the overall depth at the wide receiver position, yes, they've added Christian Kirk. Yes, they've added Jaden Higgins. And they've added Jalen Dole. But Nico Collins, as we've talked about the last 2 years, is the Marvin Harrison Jr. for CJ Stroud. And this offensive line stinks. Like it wasn't great last year, and they dealt Laramie Tunsil. They dealt a lot more pieces. They added Cam Robinson, Laken Tomlinson, Ariante Urster, who's not ready to play yet. Bad offense. They're going to throw the football 600 times because they can't run it. That's going to be kind of my take here. They can't run the football much, so they're going to be whipping it. And I think that's, Stroud and Nico could connect on a 180, 190 targets. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now for my third hot take. Number 4, Daniel Jones not only starts in week 1 for the Indianapolis Colts, but he leads the Indianapolis Colts to the NFL playoffs. Daniel Jones leads from wire to wire. He's the quarterback. He's the starting quarterback for the Colts. He leads the Colts from wire to wire to the NFL playoffs. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win a game, but I think wire to wire, Daniel Jones leads the Colts to the playoffs. Number 5, Brock Bowers. right? I didn't give you a wide receiver, a tight end one in output or anything like this. But what I gave you is what I'm giving you right here. The leading receiver in receiving yards. I just talked about Nico Collins finishing as wide receiver one. Now that's going to come down to receptions and touchdowns. Yes, he's probably going to have a lot of yards. Could have 1,500. Brock Bowers is going to lead the NFL overall in receiving yards. Period. Point blank, period. As far as wide receivers where did it go? I just had the prop up. The prop number 4 leading the NFL in receiving yards. Where did it go? I just had it, man. I just had it. FanDuel, I just had it. Where'd you go? 1,500 yards. These are the odds. Jamar Chase plus 230, Jefferson plus 330, Puka Nacua plus 380, Nico plus 500, CeeDee Lamb 500, Brian Thomas plus 500, Malik Neighbors plus 600, AJ Brown plus 700, Amon-Ra 1,000, Tyreek Hill 1,100, Drake London plus 1,200, Ladd McConkey plus 1,400, Terry McLaurin plus 1,600, and Brock Bowers plus 1,600 to lead the NFL in receiving yards. Give me Brock Bowers to lead the NFL in receiving yards and obviously be tight end number 1. Period. All right, hot take number 6 is going to be the Arizona Cardinals win the NFC West. They win the NFC West over the Rams, who've kind of pushed the chips back in, the Niners, who are in flux, the Seahawks, who've changed a lot up. The Cardinals take that next step forward under Monty Ossenfort, Kyler Murray, Jonathan Gannon. They win the West, and Kyler Murray is in that top 5 conversation for MVP. I love this one. I mean, I went out and I think I had a ticket on this one, plus 1,400 last year. Your odds are not the same this year. I think I had plus 430 for the Cardinals, but I'm still there. Number 7, Tedderroll McMillan and Marvin Harrison Jr. both finish as top 10 fantasy football wide receivers. Not the most hot, not the hottest. Marv is right now wide receiver 15 going off in drafts. Tedderroll McMillan is wide receiver 21. But they're both, not just one of them, they're both going to finish in the top 10 in PPR fantasy points this year. Obviously, each the first wide receivers drafted the last 2 years in the NFL draft. Aaron Rodgers just signed a 1-year contract, his final year in the NFL. He said on the Pat McAfee show earlier today, Aaron Rodgers plays his final season in Pittsburgh, and he throws 30 touchdown passes. He hasn't thrown for 30 touchdown passes since 2021 with the Packers. He had 37 that year. He had 26 with the Packers in 2022. He had 0, obviously, in 23 and 28 this past year with the New York Jets. I think he has 30 plus. His current prop total number over at FanDuel is 22.5. I think his passing yards is like 3,050 or 3,250, something like this. He's also hit that literally every year that he's ever played a full season, ever, dating back to like ever. So I'm going to go 30 plus touchdowns. That's 7.5 more touchdowns than what his prop currently is over there at FanDuel. Number 9, Jordan Mason, running back for the Minnesota Vikings, not only leads the Vikings, the NFC North, the NFC, but he leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns. Remember, he's in Minnesota now with Aaron Jones. And you can kind of look at this backfield. I know it's obviously a different situation, but Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery up in Detroit. You look now in, I guess you look at all these other different running back rooms. People want to keep pointing to Chicago as if it's going to become something with Swift and potentially Roschon or Swift and whatever it's going to be. But having a receiving back and a between the tackles grinding back, and Mason fits that mold in Minnesota, leads the NFL in most rushing touchdowns. Give us a LeGarrette Blount type season from Jordan Mason. Here's one for the 2026 NFL draft, plus 5,000 right now. I don't know if this is entirely my take. I think I would much more lean into the Lenoris Sellers side of things here, but that's not fun. John Mateer, this is my big swing here. My big swing right here is plus 5,000. Quarterback for Oklahoma, John Mateer, is the first quarterback drafted. He's the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL draft. John Mateer, QB1. Oklahoma, plus 5,000, first quarterback to be drafted. Number 11, Steelers. I just talked about them. The Steelers are plus 500 to win the AFC North. The Steelers win the AFC North. Cincinnati's got too much question marks on the defensive line as far as contracts. I don't like I don't like the defense where it's at today. I didn't like where it was a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't like where it's at today. The offensive line looks like it's going to take a step forward. They got Jalen Rivers in. It was a middle round pick that looks like he's going to be starting potentially early. They spent capital there. They spent all their capital on obviously Higgins and Chase and Burrow. Ravens, though, they're the favorite to win the North. Steelers win the North plus 500, but the Ravens win the Super Bowl plus 700. So you get the double bing bang. Ravens win it as a wild card team. Steelers win the North. Ravens win the championship. That was number 11. How you like them apples? And now my favorite value in all of fantasy football land is wide receiver 63. This is the 12th and final hot take for you, RosterWatch Nation. RosterWatch Nation. I can get it through in one take. Wide receiver 63 going off right now in the 12th round, 11th round in most fantasy football drafts. Cedric Tillman, 1,200-yard, 10-touchdown season for the Cleveland Browns, finishes in the top 20 in fantasy football in the 2025 season. Those are your top 12 hot takes. Early, way too early hot takes, June 24th style from Cody Carpentier here with RosterWatch.com. You can check out everything over at RosterWatch.com. You get that QR code in the top right of the screen. We'll be back tomorrow with some more. Maybe if Alex is home, we'll do a trio show. Maybe Trashman's got a solo show. Maybe I'll come back on for a solo show. I'm not quite sure. Drop in the comments, though, which one of these hot takes was your favorite. Mahomes, QB1. A running back drafted outside of the first round will be at RB1 overall. Nico Collins is the wide receiver 1. Daniel Jones leads the Colts to the playoffs, wire to wire as a starting quarterback. Brock Bowers leads the NFL in receiving yards. The Arizona Cardinals win the NFC West with Kyler Murray as a top 5 MVP candidate. Ted McMillan plus Marvin Harrison, both top 10 PPR wide receivers. Aaron Rodgers, 30-plus touchdowns. His prop is 22.5. 30-plus touchdowns. Jordan Mason leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns. He's that guy in that Minnesota Vikings backfield. J.J. McCarthy at quarterback. They want to keep the ball out of his hands as much as possible in the red zone, protect the football. Jordan Mason leads the NFL. Number 10, first QB drafted in the NFL this next year, next April, is John Mateer, plus 5,000 from Oklahoma. Number 11, Steelers win the North. Ravens win the Super Bowl from the wild card. And number 12, Cedric Tillman, 1,200 yards plus 10 touchdowns. Finishes a top 20 PPR wide receiver. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Cody Carpentier from Roster Watch Nation. We'll be back tomorrow. See ya.
This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to Roster Watch.